What I'm going to share with you today is one of the things I learned while I was at DreamWorks, an acting and performance tip, something that you can use in real life. You can just observe and improve your eye for seeing these things, but you can use it in your animation to make your characters more believable or to make them less believable. If you want to have a character who's lying, who's being deceitful, and you want to be able to cue that without making it obvious, this video is going to help you out. And just a reminder that I do go live on Twitch 3 days a week, so link below if you want to come hang out live, ask questions, we can do some demos, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and ring the bell, that way when I post a new video, you don't miss it. My name's Sir Wade, let's talk about leading action in animation. So if you have watched JP's interview on acting and subtext, which I highly recommend if you haven't seen it, he does something interesting where he does kind of this demo of sitting down multiple times in different ways and where the character's attention is as he's sitting down, which will lead you into two kind of trains of thought. One is the character's thought process, and another is choosing what, from a mechanic standpoint, you are going to lead the character's actions with. For example, if I was going to turn and look at something behind me and I'm very interested in this conversation, I'm going to lead with my chest and then I'm going to look last, which makes it feel like I want to continue this conversation, but I have to look over here, right? Because this is happening first, leading the action, and then this comes second, versus if I'm not as interested if I'm not as interested in the conversation, you disengage mentally first, and then your head leads the act. So that's leading the action, leading the action with a specific body part. But what I want to talk about today is related but different. And this entire topic is stuff that I have learned and picked up from other people. This is not my brilliant observations of the world. This is stuff that was taught to me, and I'm sharing it with you guys. It's based on behavioral analysis, reading body language and comparing that against the subtext of what's actually in the person's head, of who's thinking while they're acting and living life. So let's get to the point. Leading action in this context is going to be having an action happen at least a few frames before the actual dialogue comes into play, or having that action happen several frames after. Here's what I mean. If you were to ask me a question,
Sir Wade, do you enjoy making YouTube videos?
Yeah, I do. Actually, really do. Notice how I started nodding before I started speaking? That's something that actually happens in real life, and you can observe people doing that. When you ask them a question, if they start kind of motioning yes or no, or they're gesturing about something, first of all, it helps you as kind of the audience member or the other person in the conversation to understand what it is they're talking about. Like, I use my hands all the time, but it's also a clue as to how prepared a statement is, whether it's true, false, or practiced. So the fact that I start nodding ahead of time is my brain giving a signal to my body to say, yeah, we believe this. I just haven't figured out the words to actually have it come out yet. So you're seeing it because I'm feeling it before I'm able to put it into words and say it. So it tells you that, yeah, I'm nodding ahead of time. That's true. So now let's go the other way and make it seem like I don't really believe what I'm saying.
Do you enjoy making YouTube videos?
I do, I really do. Kind of feels different, right? It's kind of more comical, it's a little bit more funny, but it doesn't feel as genuine. It feels off in some way. So let's try a different example.
So what'd you think? Did you enjoy the meal?
Yes, it was delicious, thank you.
So what'd you think? Did you enjoy the meal?
Yes, it was delicious, thank you. Feel the difference? And I'm trying very hard because it's like, that's a natural thing you just do. It's tougher. Hi. Now that's kind of a tough thing to do when you're like super aware of it. This is something that just happens naturally. So for me to think about it, maybe it makes it feel a little bit more artificial, and that's okay because I think you're still getting the point. But I am trying to limit what I'm doing differently. I'm trying to keep my inflection the same. I'm trying to stay locked on to looking at you versus, using my eyes to be like, yeah, delicious. So let's talk about what happens if you go right in the middle. What happens if you gesture on the action? And again, this isn't something that I have come up with. This is actually in this documentary. This is a show all about body language, and so it could actually be very helpful in kind of informing how you're going to animate your characters. So if you have stuff happen, right on the beat, it's gonna feel practiced and rehearsed, like you have these cues in your head of when things are supposed to happen. So if you hear the questions again.
Do you enjoy making YouTube videos?
Yes, I do. It feels like I'm on stage and I'm trying to, convince people like, yes, that's what I believe. Or the other question,
did you enjoy the meal?
Yes, it was delicious, thank you. Feels like someone told me to say that. It doesn't feel like it's a true reaction. And it doesn't just have to be the head nods, it can be any gesture. So if someone says, what'd you think of that movie? You go, didn't really like it. This, right away, up front, it's a reaction that we would naturally have as you're trying to figure out what you want to say, but your brain already gets the feeling, and so your body is showing more than you are saying, but you already kind of get the gist and you know where I'm gonna go with the conversation. So doing that ahead of time shows, I don't know. It's right there, see, you could see that I was thinking, there was thought process, and there was an opinion, and it comes out later, and so you feel more personality from the person. So if we try something else, maybe we'll try a shrug, and we'll say, what did you think of that? And you go, I don't know. This happening beforehand, before the dialogue was delivered, shows like, oh, I'm thinking that I can't put it into words. I don't know. Versus if we flip that again, you go, I don't know. Kind of feels like I might be holding information back. And again, like these are all different choices, and what I think this looks like or feels like may be different from what you get from it. But that's the point. These are tools that you can use, and you can use them in different ways, and you'll compare and contrast and see what you think feels right. Versus if we go right in the middle, let's try that again. We go, what do you think of that? I don't know. It works, but I don't think it's as strong a choice as, I don't know. I think that is more interesting at the very least. And it allows you to hold for longer, keep some silence, do something with your character that's intentional before delivering a line versus just saying, I don't know. Look over there. What's this? Wow. When you have things, you go, did you see that over there? Oh my gosh. You can texture your shot a little bit better with more true performance and believability. And that's all this is meant for. And if you want to make your character seem a little bit funnier or a little bit more deceitful,
Do I look fat in this dress?
no, not at all. And again, if you want to talk about this live, if you have questions, or you want to see me try to implement this live in my animation, head over to Twitch. And if you want to download the project files of everything I do on Twitch, that's all available on Patreon, so links for everything down below. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit this button. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks again for watching to the end of the video. You guys are the best. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.